How do we look at current power numbers? How do you think history is going to look at this season?
No one can say flatly that PED use is gone, but you can say this. If guys are cheating, and it makes sense that at least some are willing to take the risk for the possible reward, they're not able to do the full-blown turn yourself into a cyborg thing that guys could do in the 90s and at the turn of the century before there was not only testing and punishment, but as we saw with A-Rod and the biogenesis thing, I've got that right, it was biogenesis,
yeah.
right? They're willing to use what they call non-analytic evidence, a paper trail or whatever it may be. So they're more and more vigilant about it. So if guys are cheating now, I think they're getting a smaller edge and a smaller boost from it than they used to. Then there are other factors. So many guys throw 95 or above now that hitters have adjusted to it. And when a pitch comes in at that velocity, it's providing some of the power itself. We've known that since we were kids. Guys would marvel if someone hit a changeup 400 feet. Well, he provided all the power himself. Yeah. Now it's mere physics. You got guys this big and this strong, most of them legitimately from weight training and whatnot. And the pitch is coming in at that speed and they catch up with it. The other factor, I've had many pitchers and former pitchers tell me that the baseball has seams that are slightly lower. I'm not saying this is a conspiracy. It's just whatever this run of baseballs was, it's produced balls where the seams are lower. And that means that there's less break on a breaking ball, and more importantly, a little bit less drag once the ball is in the air. And that may contribute to it too.
Who do you consider the single-season home run record? Personally, who do you consider?
Statistically, there's no question that Barry Bonds holds that record. But the most authentic one belongs to Roger Maris. Roger Maris has the authentic single-season record, and Hank Aaron has the authentic career record.
What do you make of Giancarlo Stanton's season?
We have to assume that it's all on the up and up, and he's just a great player with great power who's come along at a time that's conducive to it. The conditions in the game are conducive to it. Most of the new ballparks are hitter-friendly. The launch angle approach, we don't care if you strike out 200 times. Sabermetrics tells us as long as your OPS is good, we don't care whether you hit a ground ball to second base that moves the guy from second to third. At least in most situations, we don't care. The baseball, the velocity, all those things, a confluence of circumstances, and then you get a guy like Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton, so big, so strong, they've arrived at the right time. You know, Carl Yastrzemski won the batting title in the American League in 1968, the year of the pitcher, hitting .301. I'm pretty sure that if Carl Yastrzemski were in his prime today, he'd hit .330, at least, you know, in his best year. So everything's a product of circumstance to some extent. As great as Wilt Chamberlain was, would he be great today? Of course he would. Could he average 50 points a game? He'd have 50-point games, but could he average 50 points a game? No.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.